Alright, welcome back to more Final Fantasy. Since last time I grounded up to level 4. And I went back to the same dungeon where we just got done fighting Garland. I grounded on the enemies there and got up to level 4. I came back here to the town. I've got 3 tents now, 5 heal potions, and I just grabbed a pure potion. I don't think there's anything along the way to the next town that will poison us. Now, I may be wrong, there might be. You're eventually going to run into snakes, and snakes can poison you. I can't remember if you run into them this early or not, but either way, level 4 will make our party powerful enough to pretty much take on anything in this area for now. One other thing I did was I sold Mikey's cloth armor. So as you can see now, without wearing anything, he's already at 4 absorb, and he's at his maximum evade because he's not wearing anything. You know, you compare that to Raph, he's wearing a wooden armor, and he's at 4 absorb. So if I was to switch the wooden armor over to Mikey, then that would put Mikey at 4 absorb, but it would lower his evade because the wooden armor has an evade penalty. So, let's see. Yeah, I was gonna say, your best party in a game like this one is going to be, first of all, to have your tank, which is your guy that's going to soak up, majority of the damage. So you want to have him at the highest absorb, and of course that's Leo. Your second guy that you want to have is going to be your damage dealer. That's going to be Mikey. Later on, his damage is going to be, just way above everybody else's. Well, not way above, but he'll be dealing the most damage. So he's going to be my damage dealing guy. And generally, you want to have your damage dealer in the 2nd position, but for now, we'll have him in the 4th position because he's really dependent upon what level that he is on, and right now his level's low, so we want him at least in the bottom 2 slots. You also want to have your healer, which later on in the game, Donnie will be our healer. Just to give it a label, he'll be our healer. And then you want your magic dealer. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a magic dealer at this point in the game. The only magic person is going to be Donnie, so Donnie's going to be assuming 2 different roles. He's going to be our magic guy and our healer. So that leaves Raph. We'll just call him our utility guy for now. But later on, whenever he gets his upgrade, he will have access to black magic. And even though, the damage spells that he'll be able to acquire really aren't going to be useful at that point in the game, at that point we'll be able to call him our magic dealer, because he will gain access to a certain spell that we will need to defeat some of the bosses that are coming up. So for now, we have Leo, who is our tank, Donnie, who is our healer slash magic dealer, Raph, we'll just call him the utility guy for now, and Mikey will be our damage dealer, even though he's not just particularly strong just yet. So, alright, so let's head back to the dungeon. I'm going to go back to the dungeon, pick up the items that we need. Then I'll come back to the town and I'll heal up and we'll move on. let's go over here to the left. After we get this spider out of the way. Over to the left and go in this room. Okay, we got a cap. I'm gonna go ahead since we need our tank to have the highest absorb possible. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep the cap on him and let him equip it, and we'll move on. Yeah, we did. Getting up to level 4, we gained some more HP. So we got, let's see, we got 2 characters at 100 or more, and the other 2 aren't too far behind. We got some bones. These guys are considered undead, so if you have a white mage, then you can use your harm spell against them, but they're not too tough. They're a lot like an imp, a red imp. They just hit a little bit harder. Okay, we'll head up here. More bones. Hardly give you any experience or gold. They're just an annoyance, just in the way. Alright, we got a heal potion, and we got a cabin. A cabin is, there's 3 different items that you can use to on the world map to save your game and to regain some HP. And also there's another one that will gain or regain some MP also. The cabin is the one in between. The cabin gives a little bit more HP to, or restores a little bit more HP to each party member than a tent does. So it's the one in the middle. You have a tent, cabin, and then a house. The house is the one that will regain MP for you. Alright, this room is symmetrical. We got the 2 rooms to the left, we got those, but there's also 2 rooms to the right. But they're locked with a key and we can't get into them right now. So, we're done here for a while, and we'll be heading back here later on. We got a creep. Not just too tough, but they do have pretty high evade relative to this point in the game. He dealt some pretty good damage. He dealt 44 damage to Leo there. Okay. Moving along. Alright, I've got a wolf. The orange wolves are the weaker of the 2. Later on you'll run into, I think they're called a gray wolf, but they're actually just blue. They're stronger, they've got more HP, and they've got higher evade. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, we need to go ahead and rest up so we can save. So let's hold what we have. Not buy anything just yet. Let's go ahead and rest up at the end. let's head across the bridge that the king had built for us. And so begins our prelude. And so their journey begins. What awaits the four, they do not know. Each holding an orb that 2,000 years ago shined with beauty from within, but now only darkness. Come, start your journey. Return the light of peace to our world. Alright, moving right along. I'm going to head straight up. Okay. Hopefully, we will run into some ogres. Ogres will give you a pretty good little chunk of HP, and they'll give you quite a bit of money. And that's one thing that you're going to need, especially this early in the game, is money. Or gold. Alright, we got a mad pony. Looks more like a unicorn to me. And a little harder. You can run into them in the first area that we were at. You can actually run into them before you cross the bridge. Alright, so we made it here. Let's grab these treasure chests. A pure potion. Heal potion. Another heal potion. Alright, let's talk to her. Where's my crystal? I can't see anything without it. Who stole my crystal? Alright, so she needs her crystal. So we better go find it. I think these brooms, yeah, if you read that, I'm not going to try to butcher that word, but if you read it backwards, it says push B select, which if you do that on the world map, then it'll actually bring up the world map. Let's see, I think they all say that. Let me see. Yeah, they do. Show that off real quick. Alright, that shows us where we are right now. We've got quite a bit more to explore. Alright. 5 wolves. Let's show off the sleep spell real quick. That'll put them down for the round. Off in time. Yep, got it off first thing. Alright, so that it hit 3 out of 5, which ain't bad. Fight what you can, whatever you feel confident about. Because experience and gold is one thing that you definitely want to take advantage of as soon as you this early in the game. Get as much of it as you possibly can. I am playing the emulated version of this game, but legally I can do that because I own this game and I've owned it for a long, long time. Cartridge, I mean. When I was a kid, I didn't have patience for this game. My mom was one of the best gamers I ever saw. She could sit down and beat The Legend of Zelda and beat the second. She could beat both of them. She beat the first and the second quest of The Legend of Zelda without hardly any trouble at all. I mean, she was just really good at video games. I really miss her too. She passed away in 2006. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to head back to Corneria, which is this town. We're going to head back here one more time. Alright, let's see how far we are from the level. Yeah, we're still a pretty good ways. How much gold we have? 26? Yeah. We really need to run into some ogres so we can get some gold for this next town. But for now, let's go ahead and use the inn. Let's refill our HP and our 1 MP slot that we used the sleep spell for. Alright, back across the bridge. Very soon, after we defeat the imps. Yeah, Mikey, you're going to want to take his nunchucks off eventually. There's only 2 nunchucks that you can acquire in this game. There's the wooden nunchucks, which he has right now. And there's the iron nunchucks, which we will be able to acquire relatively soon. And sometimes you can actually get him up to a... Get him up to a high enough level to where you can just skip the iron nunchucks, because taking the nunchucks off and letting him fight with his fists would be more powerful than having the iron nunchucks anyway. I think that's about level 7. I think is where you can take everything off and then he'll fight with his fists for the entire game. Alrighty. More gold, more experience. And more wolves. Come on, I'd like to fight an ogre. Alright. You fight him. You fight that. You fight that one. Looks like we're not going to be able to run into an ogre before we get to the town. Let's see what kind of gold we got. We got 413 gold. Oh, that's not enough. We need more. Alright. Straight up is the inn. But we're doing pretty good on HP, so let's skip that for now. Okay. Alright, so let's talk to this guy right here. No, wait a minute. Let's just check and see. Alright, here we can buy heal potions, pure potions, tents, and we can actually buy cabins here. We don't need any of that yet. Not just at the moment. Armor shop. Okay, we can buy gloves here. Let's buy... Let's buy a wooden shield for Leo. Let's buy gloves for Donnie. And let's buy another set of gloves for Raph. That's all for now. Let's equip that. What do we have left? We got 278. I don't think that's enough to buy our next weapon for Leo. Let's check and see how much it costs. Alright, white magic in this town. Let's check out this shop. Alright, we've got lamp, mute, anti-lightning, and invisible. The only spell that, in my opinion, is useful out of these is the anti-lightning. Now, we won't need it until pretty good little ways into the game later on, but that is a spell that we will want to come back and acquire. Lamp, I think what lamp does is it cures the darkness spell, but the darkness spell is bugged in this game. It doesn't work, so that's a useless spell to buy. Mute, mute will keep your enemies from casting magic against you, which is also pretty much useless because I think there's only well, there's quite a few enemies that will cast magic, like elemental magic against you, but I think, well, it's not useful. And invisible, we don't need it. I think invisible, I think what it does is it's similar to the ruse. I think it increases your evade or something like that, or it lowers the likelihood of the enemy being able to hit you. But anti-lightning will be a very useful spell. We'll come back and get it later, so. Let's go to the black magic shop. Ice, we do want to get ice, but we don't have enough for it right now. Dark, we don't need. Temper in other versions of the game is a very useful spell because it increases the damage that you deal by, I believe it's 8. Or it may be more or less, I'm not sure. I think it's 8. But in this version of the game, Temper is bugged. It doesn't work, which is really a shame because, man, that's a very useful spell, especially in the Dawn of Souls version. Also, the PlayStation version of the game, it works, and it's very useful. And it's a spell that stacks. You can cast it over and over and over. And slow's not useful in this game. I think what slow does is it decreases the enemy's number of attacks. Something like that. Alright, on to the weapon shop. Alright, we've got an iron hammer. Hammers are almost exclusively for white mages, which we don't have a white mage, so we won't need that. The short sword, that is a good weapon to get right now if we had the gold for it. Also, the hand axe would be a good weapon to get for the short sword would be good for the fighter and the red mage. The thief can't use a short sword. Instead, you would want to get the scimitar for him, but we don't, even though we have the gold, we don't want to bother getting the scimitar for him yet because there's a weapon in the next town that's even more powerful than that. And the hand axe is for the fighter, and I do want to come back and get the hand axe eventually for him because that'll be a good weapon for him. Short sword, I don't think I'm going to buy it for the red mage. I'm going to try to acquire it. And there is a place coming up where you can acquire the short sword without actually having to buy it. So, nothing here for now. Alright, so... and there is the hospital. Alright, so this pirate right here, we're going to want to talk to him. And I'll be right back if you'll hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Let's go check on my youngest son. Alright, let's see what this pirate has to say. I am Bikke, the pirate. I'm surprised. Darn it. I need to read it. Oh well. Alright, so we gotta fight these 9 pirates. They're not too tough. Take them out. Actually, let's use the sleep spell because they're fairly susceptible to sleep. Use a sleep spell. And work our way from left to right. Let's put him to sleep again. Go ahead and finish them off. Alrighty. We got 90 experience and 360 gold. Awesome. Alright, let's talk to Bikke again. Okay, you got me. Take my ship. Won't be a bother anymore, I promise. Won't be any more bother, I promise. Okay. So, we got a ship. Cool. Alright, that gave us 360 gold. So, I think what we probably need to do is... we need to go ahead and buy the... yeah, let's go ahead and buy the ice spell. For Donnie. That'll be helpful. That's the only spell that's the only black magic spell that we'll want to get here. Like I say, later on we'll come back, we'll go to the white magic shop, we'll get anti-lightning, and that'll pretty much, that'll do him for the level 2 magic. We don't need anything else. So that left us with 238. Alright, we do want to get the hand axe. Alright. We got enough HP to make it back to Corneria. We'll use the cheap inn there instead of using the one here. Because now we have a ship. So let's jump in the ship. Let's head back to Corneria. Maybe show off. Yeah, here we go. This is a Kaizoku. These are the pirates of the sea. Whenever you run into these guys, now normally you'll run into more than just one, but when you run into these guys, you definitely want to fight them because they will drop a bunch of money, and money is one thing that you definitely want to acquire as much of as possible this early in the game. I don't think these guys are weak to lightning. You can use lightning against them, but I don't think it's going to deal any more damage than just, you know, any other spell would. So the best thing to do would probably just be to fight them. With the party we have right now, that's the best thing to do. See, just him alone, he dropped 120 gold. Can you imagine you run into a group of 4 or 5 of them, you're going to be making some money. So make sure you fight those guys if you run into them on the sea. Alright, so before we move on to the next sequence, let's stop here at Corneria. And let's save our game, and we'll call this a video. Alright, appreciate everybody watching, and please stay tuned for another episode of Final Fantasy on the NES. Later.